Hello, hello, and welcome everybody to Healing Vibrations. This is Gina Dallison from Gina Dallison Coaching, and I'm really excited to be joined today on World Sleep Day with Yewande Rolph, who is a natural practitioner and sleep better solutions expert. So thank you, Yewande, for coming and joining me today, and tell us a little bit about World Sleep Day, because until we spoke, I didn't really know it was a thing.
Yeah, World Sleep Day is to encourage people to prioritize sleep and think of sleep as something that's really important for wellness and for us functioning in general, because sleep is a time when we consolidate our memories, and we also allow our brain to get rid of toxins. So sleep is really important, and it was started in 2004 to actually highlight sleep. So happy World Sleep Day, everybody.
Happy World Sleep Day, and I hope that maybe some of what we talk about today will help you get a better night's sleep, because we all know what it feels like to have a good night's sleep, but then on the opposite side, when we're not sleeping well. And it was quite interesting. So in our community on Facebook, I asked the question yesterday that I said we were talking today, and did anybody have any questions? So can I share with you some of those questions? I'm flipping about on my screen. There was a few questions about dreams. So I'll go through them and maybe we can encapsulate them all, because we've only got, sort of half an hour or so. So we've got Claire says, why are my dreams so vivid just before I wake up? Carol asks, what does dreaming actually mean? Let me see if I've got any other things about dreaming. It might be, why do I twitch when I fall asleep? That's from Louise. Here's another one from Julie. I often make a loud noise, a sort of grunt when I fall asleep, which then wakes me up and my husband, which I'd love to know why, and it's annoying. So those are the sort of things all around dreams particularly. So maybe we could, I don't know, what are your thoughts of dreams? What do they mean?
Dreams are one of those things that are quite personal to people, and we don't know exactly why we dream, but we have some ideas. So it could be consolidation of memories, it could be visualization, it could be our imagination, it could be something that's mystical. Some people think, I've fallen asleep and then something amazing happens. So, for instance, Billy Joel, he fell asleep and then he wrote a song. I can't remember which exact song it was. Or some people use dream to be really creative. With Salvador Dali, he'd have a nap and then he'll put something next to him. And if that thing dropped, he'll wake up and then some sort of inspiration will come up. So, and when he did his, famous creations, he felt that they came to him in a dream. So dreams are very interesting for different reasons for different people. And sometimes people say, oh, I dreamed something and then it happens the next day. So it could be premonition. For instance, you think, I haven't seen my brother for a long time. I dream about him and then I see him the next day. So it can be quite complex. But the most important thing, I think, is trying not to be nervous or worried, because it's just something we go with the flow, because it could be our thoughts consolidating. It could be memories coming up. It could be something we watched on TV. It could be something we read. It could be some sort of creative process. It could be cleansing. So yeah, it can be quite complex. That answers people's questions.
I think there's probably an expert in dreams. That's another expertise into the mix, isn't it? Rather than, but I know that I've been trying to, if I wake up and I've got because the dreams disappear, don't they? You can wake up and you're full of dream, and then they sort of, I don't know, they're elusive then. So trying to write them down then can actually, maybe you look at it with a fresh set of eyes, and it might have some meaning to you then as well. It might, or even at a later time, you might look back at what you've written down and think, oh, okay. So yeah, so it is quite, like you said, it is really interesting. So if people are having vivid dreams, then maybe it's worth writing them down and seeing what comes up. Yeah. And
Right, maybe.
yeah, have some fun with it. Who knows? If the likes of Billy Joel and what's his name, Dali, and all those people get inspired, then actually who knows what might come out of your dreams. So yeah,
Brilliant.
thank you
Yeah.
very much.
So,
So
um,
that's dreams covered in a very, very quick.
yeah, that's right.
What about the twitching and the and making noises before you go to sleep? Do you know anything?
So I think so. It's difficult to say why you twitch because it could be some sort of you're trying to relax and then your body is because sometimes people get cramped, don't they? Of
Yeah.
different. So it's difficult to say the exact reason, but I think generally it could be your body's trying to relax and then
It's almost
it's sort of
getting rid of any. Yeah.
yeah, getting rid of anything. You're finding a most comfortable position. You're making sure that you're getting rid of anything that shouldn't be there, and hopefully, the,
Oh, you've stalled.
rest after that. When it happens, why it happens.
Sorry,
Don't
you glitched a bit there. So hopefully after that you'll be able to rest. Is that what you were saying? Oh no, you're
kind of
glitching.
my thoughts on that.
Oh, you're back again. Something that happens to me sometimes as well, not all the time, but
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
just
yeah.
before I'm falling asleep, I feel like I must be going into a dream. So you're sort of going into the dreaming, and I feel like I'm falling or I'm tripping, and I sort of have a sudden jolt and I realize actually I'm in bed. So I don't know if that's something else people experience, but which is
Yeah,
yeah,
I
which
used to
again
experience
wakes you up. So it's a bit annoying because you're just dozing off, and then you're like, oh, I'm awake.
yeah, the most thing is just go back to sleep as soon as possible after that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, some of the questions that I had was around that the sleeping thing. So I've got this one from Nerman, and actually somebody else totally resonated and said it could have been me that wrote this. So what he says is, why can't I sleep every night, even when I'm spending over 30 hours wide awake? Why, if when I go to bed at 2 o'clock, I end up spinning until the sun shows up? Why, even when sleeping for only 1 hour or less a day, I still can't sleep at night, even when I was hospitalized and lying in bed from midnight to morning? So why is it he basically says, can he not fall asleep in the night, but seems not to have that problem falling asleep in the day? So this is,
He has
yeah.
disorder. It's a disorder to do with your sleeping at different times. So it's a circadian rhythm disorder, and it's hard to get to the bottom of it. So it could be different reasons. It could be anxiety, worry, fear. Um, there's quite it's a different things to be, but the most important thing is to rest. So putting effort into resting is really important.
So almost, so if you're lying there, rather than getting frustrated that you're not sleeping, because I'm sure we've all been in that place before, you've got a big thing the next day and you want a good night's sleep and then it's just not coming, to actually recognize that actually resting is maybe not as good, but certainly better than not.
Yeah,
And
valuable.
and what came up for me when I read Nerman's post was maybe getting into into a dedicated practice of going to bed at a certain time, you know switching your phones off. That I know that you shared hints and tips before on how to get a good night's sleep, and that's certainly one of the things, isn't it? Switching your phone off a good hour before you go to sleep. I know something else that I spoke to somebody about watching the sunrise. So getting up early and going out and actually watching the sunrise. And you talked about the circadian rhythm, and this then links back in. So if you're that much out of rhythm, it might take a little bit of readjusting to coming back in. But and I haven't asked you actually with regarding to you're a wellness practitioner and a sleep expert. So what is it that actually does? So I was thinking if Norman maybe wants to have a conversation with you to see How does that work? Do people work with you one to one? How do
Yeah.
you?
So the first thing anyone can come is to my online free sleep clinic, which at the moment is on a Wednesday at 1 o'clock for half an hour. And then I can
Okay.
do ones with people, or I've got a group program which is about 6 weeks, and it's called Stress to Rest in 30 Steps. And as you said, because some of us have a lifetime habit of, whatever we do, we need something to help us long term. So that's one of the reasons why I've done this 6 week course, which is every single day, 6 weeks, because it's like a kickstart to
Wow.
remind you to get into practice of resting. So one of the most important things we need to do is regulate our breathing and breathe from the stomach, um, diaphragmatic breathing. So we're breathing so that the whole of our lung is filled, and and
Yes, I've been practicing a lot of this. Certainly in my group that I've got, I've been demonstrating, or yeah, because we don't do it, do we?
we don't, and that will
No,
help us rest. Another thing that we should do, if we can, is
do
to
it now when I
squeeze
think about it.
squeeze the whole body and then relax and fall into that relaxation. And that relaxation, falling, and that
Yeah.
relaxation, we it's a practice. So you're becoming relaxed, and you fall into that relaxation while you're sleeping and resting. So the breathing and the physical relaxation are the two things that are quite important to try and do while we're in bed, because it will help us be more refreshed during the day, and we have rested.
Yeah. Uh, well, thanks for sharing that. So you've actually got a free clinic that people can join. What's that, Wednesday at 1 o'clock, did you say? So to ask any questions or to,
Yeah. And also they come back and you say, oh, maybe I'm going to try and sleep at 11 instead of 12. Then you come back the following week, and then I gently ask you about it. And it's kind of like an accountability partner almost.
well, yeah, because it does take practice. I have one of the things I worked with a Vedic coach years ago, and one of the things they suggested was earlier to bed, getting earlier to bed, and at the time I was sort of 11:30, 12 o'clock every night, and it's like it was really difficult, and it's taken, I mean, it's taken years. I'm not going to lie. But now, not every night, because obviously sometimes I have, things on, but now it's definitely more like I'm in bed by 9:30 and then switching off at 10:30 rather than, getting to bed. That's what I aim to do anyway. And then without beating yourself up. And also because I work on my own terms, most days I don't use an alarm clock to wake up either, which is really nice. And I recognize not everybody can do that. But if you don't have to use an alarm clock, then or set the alarm for later so you wake up naturally. I certainly find that, but I am quite a natural early riser, so I'm usually between 6:30 and 8 o'clock is where I normally wake up, so which is
Yeah. And
quite nice.
some of us are become alive at night, and some of us become alive in the morning. And it's nice to find that balance. I want to find out what works for people. So most of the time, I try to be in bed by midnight, and I don't get up usually before until 8. I've set my alarm for 8, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I do stretches, and I don't force myself to get up. I get up by 8:30. So that's what works for me. But I know those are the times I've dedicated to resting. Because sometimes, as I said, if you're awake, really awake between 10 and 12, like sometimes I am, and then at 12, and my body starts saying, oh yes, you're feeling tired, and that's my natural rhythm. But other people I know will go to bed by, say, as you said, 8 or 9, and they wake up by 5. So everyone's different. We're trying to find out what's best for
But
us.
what works for us, and that's their own inner journey, so that's what you can sort of help people with. And
Yeah.
yeah, and the 6 weeks course sounds like something that might be something, and you might want to go and have a check into, because that might be something that can then reset your clock, if you like. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Every day we practice breathing for about a minute. This seems
Hmm.
sometimes a long time. And every day we practice squeezing our body and releasing. That's the quickest way. And
Right.
also
So it's
talk
just a
about
short thing every day, is it?
it's probably between 20 minutes and half an hour every day
Right.
for six
Okay. Yeah.
working, working days. So we learn about wellness, we learn about 7 types of rest, We learn about incorporating it into our lives. We learn about all different aspects, and it's kind of implementing it as well in a small way. So if a person thinks, "Oh, I can't do it," can you do a minute of breathing in, or can you go out for quick run in the morning or quick
Or
walk?
even just stick your head out. I always stick, because I can't go for runs in the morning at the moment, but I always stick my head outside the front door. The neighbours think I'm totally, but and if I look round as well, I can see the sun coming up. So it's yeah,
Yeah.
anybody can look out the window.
Yeah, and maybe get up every half an hour, like instead of being on the computer, and stretch. Just incorporating things like also gratitude, visualization, affirmations, things that kind of move our mindset to a different
Yeah,
area,
we're just
dreading
doing a
sleep.
happier place.
Yeah, when we're not dreading sleep so much, we're embracing it and
Yeah,
incorporating rest, active. I don't like the word
active,
active, but putting effort into resting,
but
which is important.
just maybe allowing the, because sometimes I know, and Norman talked about his head was spinning, and I recognise, because I've been there as well. Your head seems to, and sometimes I just think, well, this I've just got in loads of ideas, so I can either spin them round and forget about them, or I can sit up and journal. And yeah, that's what I do. And sometimes I write speeches, and I don't. It's not something a habit I want to get into particularly, but when it does happen, yeah, get a journal next to your bed and write down what you're thinking about. Because once they're out of the head, they're on paper, and then maybe they can be quiet. Let me see if there's any other questions, because I don't know what time we actually jumped on in the end. We had so many problems getting on, didn't we, Yewande? It was right. Let's have a look. Dreaming. What is good to use to do or to fall back to sleep during the night?
Yeah, I get this quite a lot actually because a lot of us are exhausted and then my head hit the pillow and we're really tired and we just sleep. And then we wake up and we're awake right in the middle of the
Well, this
night.
is it. I've got another one here. Any tips for sleep disturbance? Again, that sleep inertia for those with ME. She's got fibro, etc.
Yeah. So what I would do is those two things as well. Like, obviously if it's an emergency, please deal with that emergency. A lady I know, her son used to sleepwalk, and she had to deal with that. But then sometimes it's not, is it? It could be something you don't even know, or it could be a fox, or it could be a car alarm, it could be
Yeah,
something.
well, usually me, it's something I need a wee. So you get up and you go to the loo, and then it's like, oh, I'm awake now.
No, yeah. So, breathing is good, relaxing, as I said, is good, like tense and then relax is good. Sometimes if you have an idea, quickly write it down. I also try and say to people, please don't drink anything 2 hours before you go to sleep, because that minimizes comfort breaks, toilet breaks in the middle of the night. And also sometimes people find it useful to listen to something. Some people don't like it, listen to something, but it depends. What do you think might work for you? I mean, for me, what I do is I just make sure I'm doing my deep breathing and then relaxing that, and then eventually I talk to my brain. I say, this has happened
Yeah,
before.
it's time for rest now.
Yeah, you do eventually fall asleep.
Yeah.
It might take longer than you think.
I have a couple of things. I usually aim to fall asleep myself naturally. Again, with that sense, setting the intention to um, body relax. Um, let's intend to have a good night's sleep. Yowanda's cocked off, so I'll talk about what I do. I also I maybe listen to a, a a meditation, a guided meditation that sometimes works, or Audible. I quite like Audible, and I've got a couple of books that I listen to, and you can set the timer so it goes off, and it's like somebody reading you to sleep, like you're a child. So I quite like that one. So there's a couple of
Good.
options that I use, and actually I've got an aura ring which tells me about my quality of sleep, and actually my quality of sleep is pretty good. I'm in the 80s or 90s every day, so yeah, I'm
Fantastic.
doing something right. So
Brilliant.
yeah, so that's really good. Let me see if there's any other questions on here. Um, here's one that's a bit different. Do earthing mats make a difference to the quality of sleep? What do you know anything about earthing mats?
So is that when you I'm not sure. Did she explain what it was? Because it could be something I know, but in a different.
Well, my understanding of earthing mats are those mats that you can put underneath your sheet, and you can plug in, so they don't plug into the electric, they plug into, they've got the earthing wire. So it's like you're being earthed, as opposed to, if you were walking on bare feet on the ground.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you said earthing mass rather than earthing mat.
Oh, mats.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things that sometimes it works for people, sometimes it doesn't work for people. Like, there's weight
Yeah,
kits.
we
There's
have to.
weight kits. We tried it on one of the people I know, and she hated it. But other people find it really useful because, it's kind of like a weight on you, and it stops you getting up and
Oh
you
no,
feel
that's a
comfortable.
weighted blanket. I've tried
Yeah,
that before. I didn't like a weighted blanket because I was
yeah,
given that. No, an earthing mat I think goes
yes.
underneath, and then so there's again, yeah, you just got to try them.
Yeah, so it won't do any harm if you think it might help you. It might be grounding because a lot of people
Yes.
about grounding, don't they? So you're grounded and it could be a sensory thing that helps you to kind of feel more comforted because you're connected to the earth. So I don't think it will do any harm. If you think it's going to help, try it.
Yeah. I've got a couple more here. So there's one, Joe said, why does the menopause and perimenopause affect sleep so much? Any tips to help? And I suppose all the tips that you've given so far will help.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously the hormones are going haywire. And also, apparently, I've read a lot about menopause. It's like our body is complaining about neglect for 20 years. So we've neglected our body for 20 years, and then it's
Probably longer
complaining,
than that, if we're honest.
sometimes longer. Then,
Yeah.
and all the different hormones kicked in, it complains even more. So it just basically look after ourselves as much as we can, eat
Self-care your way through it. Yeah.
yeah, rest, think positive thoughts. Um, some people, this lady told me that when she goes to bed, it's like she's been boiling oil. It's really horrible. So, she coped as to saying, I'm not in, it's not like that. It's kind of something that my body is temporary. People have gone through it and survived. It's basically kind of using so sometimes she puts ice around this you know pillow next to her bed, and if she feels really hot she puts it on herself, puts it next to her
Oh my
bed.
goodness. Oh
Mm.
my goodness.
Sometimes
Yeah.
during the day she puts her head in a fridge. So yeah, you find ways to cope, honestly. You
Yeah.
find cope.
Well, and Joe, I'll also offer out to you if you want to have a go at my the self audit that I've got that actually looks at all different areas of your life, because there may be things that are going on in your life that you hadn't really thought about that affects your health, and there's more than what you think. So I've got a very easy tool that I'm willing to share out if that's of interest. And before we head off, there
Take
was
care, please look after ourselves. Even as I said, please rest, please not
mm,
take too much. Some of us work loads and loads of hours,
oh we
and
yeah we all work far too hard.
no, maybe we could maybe cut back or do less one day and do more the next day. Maybe we could delegate. Maybe we could eliminate some of the things that we feel we have to do. So I'm learning that all the time as well,
Oh God, massively. In fact, quite recently for me, it's come up several times. The whole idea of slowing down then actually enables you to speed up. But you
Yeah.
slow, but you yeah, give yourself permission, Joe, to have a break. Because I know Joe from way back when we used to be at school together, and she was always an active doer back then. So I'm sure nothing's changed, and her life's full, as is most of ours.
Yeah, and we can accept help as well. If someone says, "Oh, I want to help you, I want to give you a day's spa," don't say, "I haven't got time." Just go and do it. Make time.
Yeah, yeah. And there's another one here from Suzanne saying about a month ago, all of a sudden one night I stopped being able to sleep. I've tried gummies, creams, listening to podcasts, prescription. Um, I can't take RX. What does RX mean? I don't know. Um, I don't know what else to do. I'm so very tired. Oh. And why do you think maybe all of a sudden something's changed?
Yeah, the triggers are different triggers. So sometimes we don't know them, or sometimes we do know them. So there are different triggers. The main triggers are, things like moving house, having a new baby, a spouse being ill or passing away. Um, but sometimes you're not sure about the triggers. So it could be an underlying something.
Yeah.
Says all the tests came clear.
So yeah, so this is maybe your body speaking to you. And again, obviously we don't know a situation, so it's worth looking around that time what was happening in your, not only in your world, but in the world of your family around you, because that has an effect in your environment and all that type of thing. And if there's nothing obvious, then maybe it's again starting to connect in with your body. Because I've had lots of thoughts recently as well, because I most people on here will know that I'm living with multiple sclerosis. And I received my diagnosis in 2009, but I'd had symptoms when I was well in my 20s. That was when I was in my early 30s. But in my early 20s, I had very mild symptoms. So I was seeing a doctor because I'd got numbness on my leg, on the bottom of my feet. But all they were doing was giving me silly tests, and in the end, I just. But if somebody had said to me back then, "This is your body talking to you. This is an opportunity to learn body speak." Who even knew body speak was a thing? Then I don't know. Would it have stopped me my doing my wild partying crazy and stuff that I was doing in my 20s? I don't know, but possibly. So yeah, so if the things are happening that are unexplained, it's your body speaking to you. So take advantage and start learning body speak. And that's not an easy language to learn because we're never taught it. But it's not as hard as we think, because we have lived with our bodies all our lives. So we know it better than we probably think we do. And so this is an intuitive process, isn't it? Which I'm sure is part of what you teach on your, is certainly why I teach on my coaching as well, of
Definitely.
learning to
Let's
trust
listen
self.
to our bodies, please. Let's listen without judgment as well, and
Yeah.
appreciate bodies as well. They're amazing, beautiful, amazing.
But when you think about, what all that organs and what they do, and we haven't even got to do anything really apart from few simple things. And that's what the self audit comes up with, and that's what certainly sleep, like you said, so much goes on. We can't live without sleep. I think we can live without water, is it longer than we can live without sleep? So
Really. So I think from what the trigger might be, your body telling you something, and whatever your body's telling you, we listen to without judgment. Hopefully, we listen. What is
that's
it?
a practice as well. Yeah.
Yeah, sex practice to
Just
say,
be curious. Okay, well, if you're telling me this, what could the reason be?
yeah, because we're often judgmental, aren't I? Because quite often I think, oh, I've put on weight, or I do this, or I do that.
Yeah. Or that's painful, that's horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but pain is a signal very often.
Yeah.
If something is painful, can we deal with the pain so the pain goes away? And what type of pain is it? Is it aching? Is it throbbing? Is it, when does it come? Is it intermittent?
and
So
and and pain's just as, your body's speaking to you, and it's
yeah,
because we haven't listened when earlier, that it's
yeah,
now shouting a little bit louder, hey, you need to do something different.
yeah. And then when we ache, what we could do, we can stretch, or if we feel connected to our bodies, maybe have a nap for 20 minutes, or if we feel thirsty, we drink, or if we, all these things that our body's telling us, please let's learn to listen. It might take time, it might take patience, but they're great rewards at the end of it.
Yeah, I've been doing this work consciously now for sort of over 7 years. um I'm still not there yet, and I'm still learning. But like you say, I do feel, mostly I feel I'm on the right track, and I'm feeling good, and I'm learning. Well, thank you so much, Yewande, for coming in. Thank you, everybody who asked questions, and I hope we answered your questions. Not well, yeah, they're big subjects. We're not going to cover it all in half an hour. But if you want to link into Yewande's health sleep clinic that she runs free every week, so that's free of charge. or find out more about her 6-week course where you can reset your clock, then I'll share the links to Yewande and Denise. She's a wonderful human being, and I'm sure she'll have a conversation with you for free anyway, just to see where you're at and what will be best use. So if you
Yeah,
need any help with sleeping,
please sleep. Please.
yeah, absolutely. On World Sleep Day, give yourself a and if you want to know more about my self audit as well, I'm just getting my tech sorted out so people are getting more emails about it, and I will be doing a little free workshop in a couple of weeks to actually talk people through how to do it, and that enables you to look at all the different areas. Sleep is definitely one of those areas, but what are within your control, because there's more within our control than, yeah, we give ourselves credit for.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. See you soon.